House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff announces the first week of open hearings with William Taylor, George Kent, and Maria Yovanovitch, who is the ambassador to Ukraine. It's interesting that it says the first week of open hearings. We don't know if that means there are going to be other weeks of open hearings, but this is the beginning of this phase. Now, let me say what doesn't exist. Due process. We talked about there's no retroactive due process. These people have already testified. So now the fact that the House members can ask some questions, publicly. Not the lawyers, by the way, okay, publicly. I mean, the cake's been baked.
I will say this. If these are the three that Adam Schiff has decided to go out with first, he's imagining in his head that these are the three that will be the most damaging to the president because he's strategically deciding. I'm not saying he's the best strategic thinker out there, and that could always backfire when these people now are public, when they're not just behind closed doors, when there's cameras in their face, and when every word they said to Congress, they better not contradict because they took it. I'm sure they were under oath when they testified the first time. So are they going to have to make a lot of clarifications? Are they going to sound a lot less tougher and anti the president when they're actually in public and when they're going to have to answer not just to the members of Congress, but to the American people?
This is what's so unusual about this impeachment inquiry. Normally it's done within the context of the Judiciary Committee. Here it's done in the House Intelligence Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Completely different situation. Okay. In that context, they've had these interviews, no lawyers for the president, no counsel for the White House, no agency counsel, no one allowed in. Now you're going to this public, and then Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, sent a very strong letter to the House leadership saying that the process is flawed. There's a lack of due process. You don't get retroactive due process. So now all they're doing is what they've done in the dark of night, they're going to do during broad daylight, except these people have already testified.
They've already testified, Jay, and I think the reason that the attorneys for the president are not being allowed in the room is pretty clear. I don't think they could hold up under the scrutiny of cross-examination. But look, I want to read directly from page 3 of the resolution that was passed by the House because it permits the chair and the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee to, quote, yield to a permanent select committee employee. Jay, that's an attorney. So they are going to be permitted to yield to an attorney to question these witnesses, yet the president's not going to be able to. And remember, the reason this is happening inside the House Intelligence Committee is because the normal committee of jurisdiction, the House Judiciary Committee, chaired by Jerry Nadler, they didn't feel like he could do a good enough job, Jay, so they took it away from him and tossed it to Adam Schiff and are now denying this due process.
What the reality is here is we said there's no retroactive due process. Guess what there is? No retroactive due process. The cake's been baked here.